Welcome, welcome, welcome. Are you ready? Are you excited? Welcome to another TRMC, The Real Money Coach virtual town hall discussion. Oh my goodness, we've been doing this entrepreneurial series and it's been fantastic. The feedback has been incredible. And so I want you right now to just type in the chat box, where are you watching from? Because you understand you're in the right place at the right time. And I want you to understand we have a very special guest, a very dear friend of both Tony and I. His name is Dr. Matt Menino, and I'm telling you, this brother, he's going to bring the heat tonight, all right? Because he's going to be talking about neuroscience. How does your mind work? When it talks about wealth and money and business success, what's the inner game? And so I'm really excited because Matt and I, we met, I don't know, man, I don't know, 4 years ago, maybe 6 years ago. When you're having fun, time flies. Can we just keep it real? And so the thing is that what I really love about my friend Matt is that he is a visionary, right? And he's going to talk about his own, chiropractic. He had one of the top, I think it was in the top 3, top 5 chiropractic offices in the United States, and that's saying something. And so we've got, look at this, we got Dr. Benitez here, Brother Day's here from Massachusetts, Twyla Gill from California, Ruth is here, okay, from Charlotte. So go ahead and type in the chat box, where are you watching from? We always like to see which state is bringing it, okay? So type in the chat box where you are. And the beautiful thing is that your mind, I studied electrical engineering in school, and so I know a lot about computers. And the thing about it is, I used to always say, man, I could break a computer down, I could put it back together. And I was trained, 7 different programming languages, worked at IBM, HP. But do you understand the greatest computer on the face of this earth? It's not IBM, it's not Sun, it's not DEC, it's not Apple. The greatest computer is where? It's your mind. And so we're gonna unpack that tonight. This man is an entrepreneur, as well as he's also an individual that has studied the mind, neuroscience. And so, we believe that this is very important. So get your notepad and get your pens ready because we're going to rock and roll. So let's go ahead and bring Tony up, and I'm excited. Tony, how are you doing?
Marlon, I am excited, man. This is going to be an awesome, awesome program tonight. Yeah. We have in the house Dr. Matt.
That's right.
Man, we're excited. I just see Brad Hudson checked in from Huntersville, North Carolina. If you're from another state, if you're out there, let us know where you are. Come on, man. My mom, she's on here every week. She never says anything. Come on, Mom, from all the way from Michigan. Put your name in. Let us know you're here. This is going to be an awesome show tonight. Marlon, I just got to say this, man, and I'm so excited about it because we're like that close. We're that close from everybody listen to this, launching TRMC University. Wow. You heard it tonight. TRMC University, we're that close. It will be a online interactive financial education institution. Yeah. So we are that close, man. We've been looking at the prototypes of the website. And so, it'll be available on a subscription type service. We're going to make it affordable for everybody, but you can go in and really dig in, really be able to unpack some things. And that's what I'm excited about tonight because, I've been in some sessions with Dr. Matt, and you're talking about bringing it out. Man, he brings it out. So, yeah, thank you, Dr. Harris, for doing that, being supportive of it. And so, so exciting day, exciting time. So, man, looking forward to what we got going, brother.
Yeah, no doubt. And we're just so grateful. Look, we got Australia in the house, okay? Carrie is here. Carrie, you need to do a watch party, on Facebook. Get all the other Australians. Aussie. Get them up, Carrie. They need to see this. Dr. Matt. Carrie, you met Dr. Matt when he came over to Australia, right? Over to Sydney. So go ahead, let everybody know that Dr. Matt is live tonight. But I also want to say, before we bring Dr. Matt up, check this out. Can y'all see this? Believe, dream, imagine. Believe, dream, and imagine. And I think it's just so important for us to really understand your beliefs. And that's what we're going to unpack tonight. We're going to talk about what are your beliefs? What are your inner core beliefs, right? on an unconscious level, right? And then dream, right? Dream, man, dream. You know, remember as little children, Tony, how you used to dream, right? You know, like I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, right? I mean, it was the sky was the limit. You've got 4 kids, you got 2, right? You see our children, they just dream, man. But you know, Corey.
Huge dreams, Marlon.
Yeah.
And, yeah, man, we got to give a couple more shout outs here too, man, to Renee Knight in Nashville. We got Adele in Greenville.
Yep.
And so, yeah, we don't want to leave anybody out. Alice Martin from Charlotte. But here's the thing, man. One of the things that to me is one of the most tragic things about poverty is that it takes away one's ability to dream. And, you know, and we've seen that in different environments in church and some places. I remember, you know, was a long time ago, but I remember kids coming in and they lost their ability to dream. And when you lose your ability to dream, you know, and, you know, we would be teaching them about Joseph and the coat of many colors and how he had a dream and how his brothers hated him and threw him in the pit and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes, man, and I want to tell this to people, is when your dream is so big that other people just want to squash it, right? Yeah. If there isn't anybody out there that's hating on your dream, then your dream is not big enough, right? You got to dream big, think big. And, you know, and Dr. Matt is going to unpack some of the psychology behind all this stuff like we can, right? So that's what I feel about having these experts come on. They can come on and I've seen him. We've been in sessions, man, where people are breaking down, they're crying, they're laying it all out. And so just mad respect for what he does. It's just amazing. It's just amazing.
Yeah. And so, you know, and so the thing is, for all of you, realize this: you are your thoughts at the real core level. You are your thoughts, and we have to really look and say, you know, and really uncover that, you know, right? I mean, you know, Napoleon Hill's book, right? Think and Grow Rich, right? And that is really interesting. I mean, are my thoughts things, right? And so we're going to talk about that. But remember this, imagination. I want to say, imagination, there is your mind is the greatest computer. And yet we sometimes allow other things to come into our mind, right? As far as, you know, what we're seeing and what we're hearing. And so you have to really understand the power of you using this greatest computer and for you to actually use it to its full capacity. And so that's why we want to have Dr. Matt on, because he's going to share some insights for how we can really, the neuroscience of wealth, right? I mean, I think that's the title of tonight, right? The neuroscience. Sounds like a big word. I mean, but this brother is going to bring the heat. So let's go ahead and bring him up, Tony, because I'm ready to rock and roll. I got my
Hey, you got, all right, there we are.
Oh, there we go. There he is. Dr. Matt, welcome to the show. I know you're in the screens, you don't know which way to move, you know.
Right.
It reminds me of old football days when I used to bob and weave, you know, they couldn't get me back in the day. So, man, it's great to have you on the show tonight. How are things in Phoenix, Arizona tonight?
It's hot, baby. It's a hot one, man. We got 118 today. I don't know, going from air conditioning to air conditioning just to survive around here. No, I love it. I love it. The heat, you bring it. You know, it's all good. It energizes me. I've been out here for a bit, so now I'm getting used to it. But man, and congratulations, you guys! This whole university thing. Wow, this is big. That's a big deal.
Yeah,
right on. Good for you guys. I'm excited about it. I'm going to join up. Tell me where to join. Send me the link. I'm in.
All right,
thank you, brother.
We're gonna hold you to it. That's for sure. So it's really coming together. It's been a vision that really came, you know, a few months ago, and so now we've just been, you know, working on our infrastructure. You know, you got to get all those things in place, but we're excited about it. And so, you know, we can affect more people, you know, because now they don't have to wait till Thursday night. They can go in and do some learning on their own, and there's like self-assessments in it, and it's going to be pretty sweet.
Yeah, you gave me a little preview of it. Sounds awesome. So again, congratulations.
Thank you.
You're gonna rock it, and you deserve it. Next step.
Right. So Matt, let's talk, man. I mean, I kind of gave a little teaser, right? I mean, talk about your journey, chiropractic, you had your chiropractic office. I want you to really talk to us about your story, man. I know you're from Erie, Pennsylvania, and and you had, went through chiropractic, school and had some debt, so talk about,
Hey.
what went down, brother.
Yeah, no, I got into chiropractic school mostly just because of my passion. I wanted to learn about the body. I wanted to learn about, this miracle that God created, and how do I maximize its performance. And I'm like, best way I can do that is to become a doctor. And then I had an experience with a chiropractor that was able to help me where the traditional medical approach was failing miserably. So that really sort of inspired me and just brought together those two worlds of, I love work with my hands. I don't like blood, right? So I knew I didn't want to be a surgeon. And just being immersed in an environment where I'm always learning about the body and performance. And I think one of the things that stood out the most with my the education was that the philosophical part that they drilled in. You think medical school, you think science and biology and all the intricacies of the body, but they right off the bat they were nailing philosophy, and the primary premise was, hey, you don't do anything. Just because you're a doctor doesn't mean you have the ability to heal anyone or anything. That resides in this thing what they refer to as innate intelligence. Innate intelligence, that's the healer. That's the power. Bible talks about being the breath of life inspired in flesh that causes it to live and heal and repair and all this stuff. So they really drilled that in, and it really impressed me. One, it's like, cool, I don't have to heal anybody. That's not my job, hands off. There's this innate intelligence thing, or spirit, soul, whatever, a lot of different names it goes by, that's where the power is, and that's what's healing. Our job was to find where that was being interfered with, where that was being potentially blocked so that it couldn't fully express itself. And that was basically where we came in at. And, long story short, it was like, okay, if this power, this principle can create health, then maybe, just maybe, it can create wealth as well. Right. Wow. Okay. So yeah, $80,000 in debt after school, no training on business ownership or entrepreneur, nothing about how to build a business, just a degree that said I learned some stuff and a license said I was legal to use it, but that's it. I was on my own. And about 3 years into this thing, I really, being initially overwhelmed by everything, and it's just like, maybe I can apply the same principle of, hey, hands off. It's the principle that governs healing. Maybe there's a principle that governs prosperity and abundance. And I like that sound a lot better than me forcing and working, 80 hours a week and 5 jobs and, being subject to a government or economy that is never foolproof, right? I put my trust in the principle of wealth and abundance. Okay. And 3 years debt free, 5 years, top 1%, by the way, not 5. Top 1% in the country.
I think I touched it. Okay, touch the give me my credit now. Come on now. I earned it.
My nervous system, man.
That's great. That's great, man. Wow. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna bring Tony on because this is really it. So are you saying that you can be working hard, but this innate intelligence, the spirit within you, are you telling me that you can be doing everything in the physical realm, but unless that spiritual, that innate, essence of who you are, if that's not in alignment, can that cause a block? That's what I want to hear.
Yes.
Wow.
Period. Story.
Wow. So for our viewers, I want to just ask you this. Do you, viewers, please type in the chat box, have there been times when you feel like you've self-sabotaged yourself, either consciously or unconsciously? Just type in the chat box, yes or no.
And I think this is so deep because as we coach people, a lot of times, it says, wow, I just I can't save money. I get so far and then something happens, I go out and then buy a bunch of shoes, or we get so far and then we find ourselves going back, not realizing, and Dr. Matt, you can unpack this a little, not realizing that we self-sabotaging ourselves. I can do a budget for a couple months and then I don't. So some of that, unpack that for us a little bit. Is it just discipline, or is there something deeper?
So we're going deep. You teed it up. You guys, we want to go there. And the first thing I'm going to say is we're looking at this inner game, and we're going to take a look at money through the eyes of your nervous system or your brain. And so the first thing is we want to diffuse this whole self-sabotage or limiting type of beliefs, because your nervous system is not out to sabotage you. It's not out to limit you. It's out for one thing and one thing only. That's to protect you and keep you safe. So I'm pretty much known for, anytime I speak and we work with people, I'm known for saying the only reason you don't have what you want right now, health, wealth, love, anything, it's because your nervous system doesn't feel safe with it. It feels threatened by it.
Wow.
So we gotta begin to, again, if you want more money, you want more wealth, you want to access the principle that does the work for you, and you don't, then we gotta sort of play by the rules. And the first rule is your nervous system exists, your belief system that governs 95% of everything you think, say, and do, has one job, one purpose. That is to keep you safe, not to sabotage, not to limit, not to stress you out, make your life miserable. It's to keep you in this state of harmony or balance. And the key is that it's trying to keep your environment, your external environment, your relationships, your job, anything that's going on outside of you, consistent with who you perceive you are. And so this idea of a belief system that, most people, if they're involved with personal development, they've heard of it. That's why I like to diffuse that right off the bat, talking about limiting beliefs and self-tap. No, it does not exist. Your belief system exists to serve you. Your belief system wants the best for you. The challenge is that sometimes it grabs onto things that aren't real accurate about yourself. It's accepted things about yourself that may not be true or fully, as you said earlier, Marlon, line up with your true essence, your true nature, your purpose, your destiny. And now it becomes, again, once that idea or thought or theme is accepted at the level of your subconscious, brainstem, cerebellum, and midbrain, it's back here. It's not here. Everybody is right now trying to process what I'm saying and what we're talking about with this part of the brain. And that doesn't fix or solve anything in life. And that's the other challenge. Everybody tries to use their logic and willpower and perseverance and intelligence to get what they want. And my question is, how's that working out for you?
Sure.
You got a belief system that's really running the ship. Again, neuroscience, 80% of everything we think, say, and do throughout the day is filtered and governed through that part of our nervous system.
Okay.
And the filter is simply saying, does that amount of money, does that relationship, does that job, or does that thing that you want line up with who you think you are? And if it doesn't, done. If it doesn't, now the nervous system perceives that very thing, the goal, the dream, the desire, the thing that you want, as a threat.
Okay.
And so it comes to your rescue and says, no, you can't have all that money because you're not valuable enough, or you can't have that job because you don't trust yourself, or you can't have that job because you might gain too much response, whatever it is.
Got it.
Right?
Got
So
it.
the thing that you want really bad that you don't have presents a threat to your nervous system. So it's going to do everything it can to keep you from it.
So listen, I mean, we've got 12 people and I asked a question, you know,
Okay.
okay. And everyone has said, yes, I have, sabotage. I mean, I'm using that word because that was a language and, we have to be able to connect with people where they are. But everyone has said, not one person said no. So these are people that recognize and say, wow, on some level I have. So they're basically, linked up to what you're sharing. So what can we do, Dr. Matt? I mean, everyone's saying yes, I have. What can we do?
Yeah, so great question. And again, the reason everybody is responding by yes is because we all have a nervous system and that's its job, again, to keep us safe. So the first thing is to put it in the right context. And basically, here's the other important part of this is that you are not your nervous system. Your nervous system has things like thoughts, and the hypothalamus generates things like emotions, and your hippocampus causes you to perform certain habits that none of them which may be healthy or pleasant, right? And so the first thing we have to realize there is like, okay, I have a nervous system that has creates these results, but I'm not my nervous system, right? You have negative thoughts, but you're not your thoughts. You have emotions that aren't really friendly or pleasant, but you're not your emotions. And that's sort of the first step is we need to create a distinction or separation between us and an organ system, right? If you start running fast and your heart starts beating, you don't say, oh my God, I'm beating, because it's your heart that's beating. You identify an organ that's beating. You don't associate your identity with an organ function of your heart beating. In the exact same way, we should never, ever associate a negative thought, a negative emotion, or destructive habit with our identity, with who we are. No, that's a part of us that's operating based on what it's learned and what it's been programmed to do. You have a negative thought. That's because your brain has no choice but to have that negative thought. If you did, it was like if you truly were operating from this prefrontal cortex and chose every thought you think, would you ever, I think I'll be miserable right now, or I want to be really afraid or anxious. You would never choose that. But yet people, especially around money, that's their life. That's their complete experience around money is fear, worry, stress, and anxiety. And it's because their nervous system has learned to think and feel that way around money. Period. Right. So that's the first step is to say, hey, there's a part of me that's sort of stressing out. There's a part of me that is really threatened by money. How do I know that? Because I have the sense my nervous system feels worried and stressed and afraid and anxious about this thing all the time. And if your kid had those thoughts, the first thing you would want to do is support your kid, talk to your kid, calm them down, walk them off the ledge, right?
Right.
So we freak out. We buy into our thoughts and emotions. We think we are them because we say things like, I'm worried, I'm stressed, I'm afraid. No, you're not. Your nervous system is.
And we're kind of speaking that right into ourselves. What we're very interested in you unpacking for us is because, I mean, everything that you said, you spent years developing this. You spent years on this. Talk to me about COVID-19. Talk to me about the impact of social distancing, shelter in place.
You really want to go there?
Well, listen, I know that in my mind it's necessary for health reasons, right? But what impact can that have on everything you're talking about in terms of our belief system and et cetera?
Well, it's sort of twofold. First, if someone is experiencing those emotions around a disease or any disease, going back to my testimony at first, they drilled into our heads that the human body, this innate intelligence, an intelligence that surpasses any doctor, any scientist, any research study, that knows the difference between a harmful germ, virus, or bacteria and a non-harmful one. And if it's harmful and doesn't supposed to be there, a thing called your immune system kicks in to destroy it and shut it down. And it doesn't care the name or the label or the tag that someone put on it. AIDS, corona, whatever, virus is a virus. And if your immune system is up to the battle, it's going to see that and destroy it without you ever knowing it. That's why like 90% of the people who caught this disease or have positive tests had no symptoms because their immune system was simply doing its job. Same thing with cancer. It does the same thing. The body's that cancer cell, that's not supposed to be here. And there's a certain cells that identify it and shut it down. You probably heal from cancer every day and you don't even know it. And so if you've lost that confidence in your body's innate ability to heal and repair, then sure, you're going to be afraid. And sure, there's going to be stress and worry about disease. But again, that's the illusion. It's the same of being stressed and worried about money, because that belief system simply says, I don't have confidence in myself to access the necessary resources to create wealth anytime, any place, any way, to the extent that I want to do it. And that's our nature. Our nature is we were created for abundance and wealth, even though the nervous system, if you will, doesn't know the coronavirus, and the nervous system doesn't know what money is either. But it knows the difference between something, and it's really sort of simple in that it functions simply by this duality of pain and pleasure. I mean, my nervous system, what did I say before, governs 90% of everything I think, say, and do throughout the day under two premises. One is to pursue pleasure. The other is to avoid pain. That's it. And so again, if money's a struggle or health is a struggle or these things, it's because your nervous system has associated it with pain. And so it's designed to avoid the thing. And what triggers that is, again, the thoughts and the emotions. So I'm going to say this, because if your audience gets anything from what I'm saying, that you want more money, you want better health, you want better relationship, whatever it is that you want, feel and think good about it, period. Right? Because now when I think good about money, when I generate positive thoughts and positive emotions and create just really amazing, happy, excited visions of me and money, then my nervous system sees that as pleasure, and pleasure is always safe, right? So I'm acknowledging and honoring my nervous system's operating system, which is to keep me safe. So if I feel good about something and I have positive thoughts and feelings and emotions about something, then it's going to perceive that as safe and will welcome it with open arms. Whether that's love, whether that's money, whether that's health, whether it's relationships, purpose, whatever it is that you want, start thinking good about it.
So Dr. Matt, how do, because when we do a lot of our classes, and we have a class called, financial psychology, and we talk about where your first recollection of money, where did you learn about money? What type of things, and I always use the example, we've heard this, right? Money doesn't grow on trees, right? Right. Things like that. And I think either we have negative influences in our life growing up about money. Maybe we've had some positive ones. How do you unravel that? Because what I'm thinking about is the person who maybe has grown up, didn't have much, maybe saw their parents struggle, and then you have the opposite of that, right? So you have people who've grown up and they had everything they needed. They never wanted for anything, never had to work for anything. How does our past, how do we unravel that so that we can move forward?
Yeah, great question. And there's a group or let's say real popular theory or methodology in personal development that says those hurtful, painful childhood experiences cause these belief systems that now, as I said, sort of operate. And the neuroscience is accurate. 80% of our belief system that governs everything we think they do is formed by the ages of about 8 years old. That's simply because the subconscious, the brainstem cerebellum, is really the only active aspects of the brain. The prefrontal cortex that helps us choose and make decisions and analyze stuff doesn't really come online till about 8 years old. So if you had a lot of exposure of hurtful, negative experiences around money during that time frame, then it's a real good chance that your nervous system has made an association to money and pain. I did an exercise group of about 500 people, and I said, answer the question, money is what? Fill in the blank, and everybody's writing it down. And I started working with the groups and the individuals with the audience, and we went through my process of helping do just what we're talking about, uncovering what is the belief system holding on to and feel threatened by. What is it really trying to, again, what is its job? Protect you, keep you safe. So where did it pick up that money is harmful to you? Where did it pick up that money is a potential threat, that it's something you need to stay away from, right? And so we sort of worked through this, and individual after individual that I worked with was this, we call it a breakthrough. They got a breakthrough because then a breakthrough is defined by your conscious mind finally seeing and understanding what your subconscious mind is dealing with and what is trying to protect you from, not, what is trying to limit you or sabotage you. It's operating out of protection. And so this guy wrote down, and he shared, he didn't talk to me while, in session, but he came to me afterward and he said, Dr. Matt, man, I did the exercise and I wrote down pain. And I looked at my response, and I said, I had no idea why I wrote down the word pain. And as you were working with these other individuals, I went through the process and remembered a time that I completely blocked out of my memory. I hadn't even thought of this until the last time I thought is when it happened, until this class. And he said, I remember it. Boom, I went right back to a memory when I saw my mom ask my dad for some grocery money. And that little innocent question ended up in a 911 call to the emergency room. Mom went to the hospital, bloodied. It wasn't a good scenario. There wasn't a good exchange between mom and dad about money in that moment. And so this thing didn't even happen to him. It was something he witnessed. And obviously, was there an association? Was that a hurtful, painful experience for him? Absolutely. So in that moment, his nervous system said, we're talking about money. That caused pain. So in order to avoid pain, I need to avoid money, right? Wow. So this guy was literally, he worked for Fortune 500 companies. He would show any group, any company, any entrepreneur how to make millions of dollars. The problem is he couldn't do it for himself because his nervous system was so committed to keeping him safe from all that painful money. But in that moment, he had his breakthrough. And after that, I followed up with him and his business exploded, started training others to do what he did. And it was just a powerful story. But it's just one story out of tens of thousands that I have around the same mechanism. So bottom line, yeah, we all have memories. We all have those experiences. We all have those instances. And here's the key with this, Tony. The key is that it wasn't the experience at all. It was how his nervous system perceived the experience.
Got it.
Right? Because I have families of, 10 kids that all experienced the exact same stress and trauma from mom and dad, whatever. They were all treated the same. There was no distinction between how the parent treated the kid, but each one of them had a completely different perception of that experience. Some, totally took them out. Others, it created rebels out of them. Others, it was the best time of their lives. It was, this is the thing. We don't blame our history. We don't blame our parents or our teachers or our siblings, whoever, quote unquote, caused the trauma or whoever victimized us. we understand that that experience was meaningless until we put a meaning to it. Right. And so how we unpack this basically is to say, ask the question, why, if my nervous system, if my subconscious mind has no idea what money is, or even in that matter, who my parents are, right? Because it doesn't compute or understand. This part of the brain understands all those concepts, but this part doesn't. This part is only thinking about my safety. So in that moment, the question is, what part of me was threatened? What was my nervous system trying to protect me from? That's the question. Forget trying to forgive and create new meanings and work through it. That doesn't work because the nervous system's still holding on to that memory, right? We have to get to the root of the cause, just like in my chiropractic practice. Quit treating the symptoms of a nervous system or belief system that's trying to protect you by overriding it and working through it and powering over it. No, ask the question, man, thank you, nervous system, because you showed up in that moment out of my benefit to trying to protect me from something, right? And so that becomes the question. It's a completely different perception, getting all the focus and the attention off of what happened, off of the memory, off the experience, and into self, into why was that so threatening to my nervous system? What was it trying to protect, right? And now we get into the deeper levels of gifting and strengths and personalities and purpose. It's some really cool stuff that I get into, work with my online courses.
Well, it's interesting because you mentioned breakthrough, and I just want to, Adele Ryan, she put in there, hello, Dr. Matt, I'm still at it. Speaking up, speaking out. Thank you again for helping with my breakthrough. This man is so awesome. Thank you. Your emails are still helping me. And so you've had some great influence. As you were talking, and I was thinking about how many different areas does this affect? And one of the things I always think this. I went and had my dentist appointment the other day. The normal cleanings that we do, and then I may have had one cavity in my whole life or something like that. Never really had a bad dentist experience, but as I sit in that chair, I find myself tense, right? And I was like, why in the world am I tense about being here at the dentist? I've never had a bad experience. And those are the types of things. And I think about people who struggle with even test taking. Why do I get so uptight about taking a test? And I think some of the things that you're talking about could be really solved by unpacking some of that.
Right. So, and here's the first question. The first technique is what it sort of went back to. It's not, why am I stressed about being in this dentist chair? Why is my nervous system stressed about the dentist chair?
There we go. Okay.
Why is my nervous system stressed about taking a test? It's because you don't stress. Well, I understand that God created us that has, we don't have a spirit of fear or timidity, but one of power and strength and of a sound mind. That's our essence. That's who we are. Oh, but our nervous system can get afraid and stressed and worried and discussed, all that stuff all day long. Right. So that's always the first step, is making that separation of you versus an organ system that's showing up. Because consciously you knew you were safe. You knew these guys do this stuff all day long. If they use enough Novocaine, there isn't any possible chance you would have any pain. You knew all that, but your nervous system still perceived that environment as a threat. So that becomes the question. It's like, interesting, notice, right? And this takes time, and it takes some persistence, but to literally allow those emotions and allow those states, even though unpleasant and even though really uncomfortable, but allow them to exist and actually move into them so that you can learn about it, right? So that's a great question, is why is my nervous system stressed about this test? I want to go find out, because it feels threatened about this thing, right? Mm-hmm. And that's, again, the simplicity of this is that's called a fight or flight response, right? You've probably heard of that. I'm sure your community has heard about this. But a fight or flight response only exists when your nervous system perceives you are in danger, like someone's going to kill you, like someone's coming at you with a knife, right? But that's not happening. You're taking a test. In the dentist office, it's a little closer because he does have a little knife, but you know what I'm saying? It's in service and to help you, not to like slice your throat. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's what this, and same thing with money. Unless someone gives you a really severe paper cut with your $20 bill, it ain't going to kill you to lose that deal or to get fired or, you know, lose your job or the economy tanking. But yet people's nervous system responds like it's a death sentence. And so they go into fear and worry and stress and everything else. And that's complete shutdown. Now I'm in protective mode and all of my physiological resources are reacting as if I'm physically in danger when I'm sitting fine in my house and it's, you know, reading the email that I got just saying, you know, whatever, right? So that's the disconnect. The nervous system perceives that threat as life-threatening when it really isn't. That's the illusion and that's the lie. And that's when we have to step in and guide our nervous system back to a safe place, right? And begin to shift. I call it my brain switch method. We got to shift out of that fight or flight, bring things back around to the front where our higher consciousness is. And the higher consciousness gets to say, just like you guys have done and during this pandemic where people are losing jobs and money all over the place, you guys are cranking it. You guys are finding solutions and strategies to increase and generate multiple streams of income in this moment because you haven't succumbed to that fight or flight response. And so those techniques and strategies to do that. But the first one is always to acknowledge what's showing up right now. And that's the best way to serve yourself.
And sometimes when leading a sales force, here's the thing, you know, why am I afraid of hearing no? You know, when you think about it, I'm sitting in a Zoom, on a Zoom with someone and they may be clear across the country. I don't know how many miles Phoenix is away from Charlotte, right?
Right.
But why am I afraid? Why do they have that fear? And I know you've unpacked this of just picking up the phone and say, hey, listen, I got something that may be good for you. Would you mind getting on a Zoom meeting? You know, and those types of things, or, you know, what makes us so afraid of the word no? I think sometimes we're afraid to say no to other people and we're afraid to hear the word no ourselves. So
absolutely. Yeah, great question and great notice. And again, you know, if we looked at it from the perspective of the nervous system, does the nervous system know what you're selling or talking about on the phone? That's a question. Yeah. Does the nervous system know who this person is on the other end of the phone? No. So the only thing the nervous system knows is who you are. It knows, and it's the question it asks 24/7 in the back, whether you're sleeping or awake, your subconscious never sleeps. It's asking constantly, am I safe? Am I safe? Am I safe? It's only thinking about this now moment, right now. And the word no can mean any number of things. And to one person, it's no, it's like, cool, on to the next one. You didn't waste my time. Thank you for a direct answer. I'm more upset about someone saying, I'll think about it. I got to talk to my wife or give me some time, blah, blah, blah. That may take someone completely out and sets that person's nervous system up because their issue, their value is around time and openness, right? And honesty versus someone says, you know, thank you so much, but this is not the right time right now. So I'm going to say no. Right? It's just like, okay, so in that moment, because I really appreciate honesty and integrity, I feel good about getting it. You know what I'm saying? So it has nothing to do about no or yes, whatever. It's how the filter that you perceive life through is that thing being threatened? Is the thing that you value and the thing that's really important to you, is that on the line right now? Right.
Right.
So
Right.
that's the difference.
So Matt, I know you do your 3-hour, I mean, that's 3-hour, 3-day, intensive. For our viewers, okay, what are some suggestions that you would recommend? I took a whole page of notes, right? And so, the question is now, okay, we're hearing this, nervous, this is a new concept for many people on this call.
Yeah.
But what are some things that, individuals, the viewers watching, what can they do? What, because I really, what I'm tapping in is identity, your identity, and understanding that, man, all I need is within me now, right? And so talk to me about, because really, many people are 30, 40, 60, 70 years old watching. And so, we're talking about, years, and I know,
Right.
I've seen your seminars, I've been there with you. What are some, nuggets of wisdom and some action items that you would suggest for our viewers to help them get more in alignment with their truth?
Yeah, great question. And so this is right out of my online course, the 30-day breakthrough. And so breakthrough, I define breakthrough as the first critical step to creating any permanent and meaningful change, because breakthrough, the process of breakthrough, is simply allowing your conscious mind, as I talked about, to understand the subconscious operating system.
Okay.
Safety, survival, protection of me, not only physiologically, right? My heart, the number one drive physiologically is to stay alive. Everybody gets that one. The number one psychological drive is to behave, to think, to feel, and act consistently with the belief system I have about myself, right? And so if that's true, the first thing that I need to do is begin to access, well, what does my subconscious think about me, right? What's its perception of me? And one of the ways, the clues, that's a pretty open, it's a deep question there, but it's the right question to ask. The clues that our subconscious leaves us in these belief systems are emotions, positive and negatives, right? So we first look at, how am I feeling right now? What is my nervous system telling me about money, about relationships, about joy, peace, love, whatever, all this stuff, right? And if that negative emotion is present, the first step in my breakthrough process, 3-step process, is to clear. And clearing simply means a process of, I got to calm it down. Right? I gotta calm the barking dog. The doorbell rings, the dog starts barking his head off, right? Because the doorbell is the trigger of something's going on. It's the postman. So you're cool. And the first thing you do, calm down, dog. It's all good. Nobody's trying to rob us or break into our house, right? But it doesn't know that. And the same thing with our nervous system. The only reason our nervous system would think, no is threatening is because, again, it learned that. But the first thing we got to do is calm it down. So my 30-day program, we give techniques and specifics, and literally breathing is the most powerful one, right? When you start stressing out about money, deep breaths, 3 in through the nose, out through the mouth, because your nervous system can't breathe and relax and be fighting off attackers at the same time. Right. So just to breathe and calm it is a sign, indication to, we're okay. And again, that's the physical part of it. The mental part of it is to know you are not your nervous system. And now it's instead of freaking out and reacting as if your nervous system and going in this downward spiral, it's the exact opposite, and begin to move into it. Okay, nervous system, you're feeling worried. Tell me more about that. I want to know. I want to feel all this worry and fear and stress that you're generating right now over nothing, right? Because we're safe, and you're perceiving this stuff that's going on as life-threatening. That's an illusion. That's incorrect. So let me help you find your way. right? Which is the second step of connecting. So when we go into connecting, that's the quickest way we get through that is that's that question. What does this mean about me? What would it mean about me, Tony, if I got that no? If someone said no to me and it felt really bad, what must that mean about me? What does that make me? How does that, as Marlon said, well, how does that identify who I am and my life purpose and the possibilities that I'm looking forward to because I got that no, right? Or because she said no, or I lost that deal, or I lost my job, I got fired, whatever, right? None of these things feel good, but the reason they don't feel good isn't because of what just happened to you, isn't because of the experience of the event or the external trigger. Again, that's just the doorbell. You got to go inside to ask the dog, what are you freaking out about? What is so upsetting about that no to you? Because like I said, 10 other people, I'm grateful you said no. I'm not going to waste my time. I'm on to the next one. Thank you very much. You know,
Moving on.
what I'm saying?
Right.
Perception.
Yeah, that's good. And that's what Adele just wrote. She said, I hear no on the phone. I move forward. Stay strong.
Beautiful.
Right? Yeah. Your book, go for the no, right? And so we got to get to the point where we're not afraid of the no and realizing that no is not a personal attack on you.
Correct. Well, exactly. And that's what I'm saying. So as Marlon mentioned, it's an identity thing. So negative emotion simply means, because the part of the hypothalamus doesn't know what just happened to you that causes this negative emotion. So it wasn't what you heard, wasn't what you saw, wasn't what you experienced. It was how your nervous system perceived it as an attack to you, right? So that's why the question is, what does this mean about me? How does this supposedly identify who I am, right? And again, the negative emotion, what we also know about that is that it's you're living in your past. So the negative emotion, it's a package deal with the memory. So memory and emotion always go together. So when you have a non-life-threatening negative emotion, you know in that moment that you're living in a past memory. The current present experience or situation, circumstance, or event to your nervous system looks a lot like what happened when you were a little kid, right? The stimulus from your external environment has caused all these neural nets and memory banks in the hippocampus to bring forward that memory, and the emotion at the same time. So that's why you're feeling the way you're feeling, because you're living in a past experience. It just happens to look like it's being caused by the now moment, right? So the connecting part of it allows us to do that, really engaged with the subconscious to understand what it's dealing with. Completely separate, distinct operating system than what most people use to fix their life. Their logic, their reason, their fortitude, their passion and intelligence doesn't work, right? You can't fix a problem with a different brain that created it. Einstein said that, or something like that. And then the third step is to create. So our third step now, with that information, with that insight about what this makes me and what this means about me, we come back and re-engage that same situation that triggered us or took us out or caused all this turmoil, and test it. How do I feel now? Oh, I had a 10 in my chest, right? Or a lump in my throat, or my stomach got all knotted up, and now it's about a 5 or a 3, whatever, right? So this process of 3-step breakthrough, clear, connect, and create, is really the steps that I have found, neuroscience based and tried and true over and over again, helps what I call upgrade the belief system. We're not trying to change. You can't change anything. You can't change your belief system. That's like saying, I'm going to change, my liver or kidney, whatever, right? It's a given. but you can upgrade your belief system and make it in alignment, as Marlon said earlier, with your higher self, or a more correct or accurate perception of who you are, right? So that's all. The belief system simply has a range of being dialed in to your true essence, your highest self, and your perfect creative being, and the exact opposite, your lowest self, your human self, the worst version of yourself. That's the only option we have with our beliefs. And how do we know which ones are dominant? Is our emotions. When we're feeling really good about our results, feeling really excited and motivated, we are expressing or accessing our higher self, our gifts, our strengths, our talents. So, and our emotions affirm and confirm that by feeling good. And the exact opposite is true as well. When I'm feeling really bad and stressed and worried and frustrated, I'm just accessing my lower self that has a belief that I don't have what it takes, or I'm not good enough, or valuable enough, or smart enough, or I can't access the necessary resources I need in this moment to overcome this challenge or this obstacle or whatever else. And that's a complete lie, because you do, right? But seeing that and understanding and acknowledging that truth versus, oh, she did this, or the economy is this, or the government is this, or my boss is this, or my kid or husband, now you're living a lie. That's called victim mentality, blaming, complaining, and pointing the finger at your external environment, which truly is nothing more than a reflection of you.
Wow. Wow. Listen, we got one question here. I want to, perhaps make this the last question of the night as we're approaching 9. Vincent McDowell said this: what are some techniques used to get over the negative feeling from the no?
So the first, and this takes a little courage, right? Because what I call our lower nature, our human nature, just like physical pain, wants to avoid that, wants to run, wants to treat the symptom, wants to make it go away. I'm going to say just the exact opposite. The breathing is the first, but then move into it. Where are you feeling it? What's actually showing up? Think of this negative emotion or negative feeling like a worried stepmother, right? She's always harping at you, look both ways before you cross the street. Don't, you're going to get hurt, right? They're always freaking out, always, thinking about the worst. That's your nervous system, unfortunately, everyone. The nervous system, that's where it has 80% more pain receptors than it does pleasure receptors. So we're much more in our humanly nature, fleshly nature, inclined to listen and react and respond to things that are painful and unpleasant. This is where you turn the tables, and your higher nature moves into where it's feeling that and acknowledging that and beginning to ask that question. Even just focusing on it, it's almost like that same, stepmom, acknowledging her and speaking to her and letting her know you hear everything she's saying. You appreciate what she's saying, and you got it. She's going to shut up. And so will your nervous system. Your nervous system's crying out to you, letting you know that, hey, this no thing that I'm dealing with isn't accurate. You're believing something about yourself that's not true. That's why you feel bad. And I'm just trying to bring it to your attention by making you feel bad. It's a cry for help. It's not something that needs to be suppressed or overworked or try to, overcome. It's to be listened to and beginning to ask those questions, right? So we have that balance of a modality which says, what can I do to make the pain go away, versus the real healing process of listening to it and acknowledging it and asking, how intense is this thing? How long has this been showing up? And where did it come from? Where in the world did my nervous system learn that no is bad?
Right.
And
Matt, this has been really powerful. And one of the things we've got to answer this question, because Alice Martin really posted a great question. And she said, where does our faith in God, our empowering creator, fit into this process?
Yeah, I love that question. Thank you so much, Alice. And my belief system, my perception is he created the rules of the game. He created the principles that we live by. It's just like electricity or gravity. Man, that wasn't an invention of man. It was an invention of the creator. And gravity, if you don't respect it and understand it, you walk off your roof, you're going to break a leg. God is not going to swoop in and say, they didn't understand gravity, or they didn't appreciate gravity, so I'm going to no, the law, he set up the law. He plays the game by the laws and rules that he set up to govern the universe. And so I'm going to say the spiritual laws, the ones that we're talking about, faith and love and hope, are even more powerful than gravity and electricity. So if we want to learn and respect the creator, let's learn the law, the one that I just said, the law of healing. He already breathed that into us. But I have to make sure that there's no interference on this innate intelligence, so it can do its job, heal, repair, restore my body, all on its own. Thank you, Father, for giving that to me. And it's my responsibility to make sure nothing interferes with my God-given wealth nature. Deuteronomy 8:18, God has given us the ability to produce wealth, not poverty, not stress, not worry, right? So I have a responsibility to make sure that that law is functioning and flowing through me. So his job, set up the rules of the game. Our job, play by those rules.
Powerful. Tony, what you got to say, man? I think you're on mute right now. Yeah, you're on mute, Tony.
See, I do think that's important, and I'm so glad that Alice asked that question, because when we're in a body of believers, and many people on this call may or may not be, I mean, I know many of them are, is that when we start talking about science, there's this almost innate thing that God is not in it.
Right.
And I think we have to realize that God is the creator of everything,
Yeah.
Science, medicine, all of it. And like you said, he is given the law, he's given his word, and his word does not act. It says that faith without works is dead. And so we can have all the faith we want to in the world, but if we don't have some works to go with it, if we haven't learned the law and actually put it into practice, then, you know, the Bible is merely words on a page, but what makes it come alive is the Spirit of God and the fact that it's a living, active word. And when that word gets inside of us, right, and we begin to act on the word that we've seen, because faith comes by hearing, and hearing the word of God. And once we have that, and now it is my job not to be just a hearer, but a doer of the word. And so, and the whole time you're talking, the one thing that kept going around and around my mind is, so that a man thinketh, so is he.
That's right.
That kept playing in my mind. So that a man thinketh, so is he. And so if I don't think I'm worthy of riches, I won't have them. If I don't think I'm worthy of healing, I won't have healing. If I don't think I'm worthy of having a beautiful relationship, then I won't have it. I first have to, in my mind, know that God put me here, and I'm wonderfully and fearfully made, right? And that I have to believe that back to Proverbs 29, that he has a plan for me, a plan to prosper me and not to harm me.
That's right.
That I'm worthy of all of the blessings that he bestows on me. And when we really get down to our faith, and it's not because I'm so good, it's not because I've been so obedient to his commandments, but it's just that he loves me. And what blocks me, what causes me problems in life is when I allow that love that he has for me to be filtered and scattered rather than taking it whole. And understanding that there's no harm that God wants to come to me.
Wow,
There's
that's
no harm.
very good. There you
He
go.
wants me to prosper.
Right on.
I'm out, man. That's it. I'm good.
Yeah. You got Adele saying, "Amen, Tony." Come on, Tony.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, thank you, Tony, because I think you're right. I think once it really clicks that God wants, you know, and God created you. We're in the image of God, right? I mean, that's, you know, my
Right.
belief, right? I take ownership. I've seen miracles. I've seen blessings, right? And what Tony's saying is, you know, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he, right? And so all we've talked about tonight is really being in alignment. Being in alignment. You know, love is patient, love is kind, does not envy, does not boast, it is not proud, right? Fruits of the spirit, right? Love, joy, peace, kindness, goodness, gentleness, self-control, faithfulness, right? I mean, what I'm saying is that this to me is really what you've talked about, Dr. Matt. And I love, you know, there are physical laws and there's spiritual laws.
Right.
And just being in alignment, right? So I hope that the takeaway for all of us is really looking at the understanding that you're on purpose. It's not even by luck or chance that you tuned in tonight. There's a purpose. You were almost like called. You were drawn, right? Your inner being, right? There's so many other things going on, right? I think the DNC National Convention is happening right now, but you're here. You're here on purpose, and that to me is power. When you can just really all things serve you, right? And as you heard with Matt, it's you know, your nervous system is number one here to protect you. Right. And so it's just really going deeper, you know, and I love what you said, like, you know, I you know, when my heart's beating fast, I'm jogging, you know, I don't say I am my heart, right? You know, but sometimes we do equate I am worry, I am fear, right? And then also we know in Proverbs, life and death are in the power of the tongue.
That's right.
Right. And so speak, right? It's almost like a public declaration, right? Right. And so that's really powerful. And so I know many people are excited. I want to put up on the screen, if you want to get in touch with Dr. Matt, his program is the 30-day breakthrough. And so we're going to put a screenshot up on the screen right now. And so, you know, it's really phenomenal. Okay. The 30-day breakthrough. So the 30daybreakthrough.com. And that's where, and we've even posted it in the chat box as well, right? www.the30daybreakthrough.com. And so, you know, again, this is a man on a mission. And so, Matt, we want to say thank you, brother, you know, because you're very passionate, right? I mean, you got on a roll, man. You know how you roll when you're in tune, right? You know,
you heat it up, brother. You brought out of me.
Ah, there you go. Well, Tony, man, and Tony, you know, Tony, you resonate with Tony. Tony was like, "Yo, I got something to share." Okay, and
right.
he brought it too. So that's beautiful because again, you know, being around wise counsel, and and so thank you, Matt, and we love to have you back on the show. Okay, and you know, really take this, you know. So thank you, brother. All right,
you're welcome.
I love you.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, brother. And I liked right now as we're about to close out, and thank you for the extra time. Just post in the chat box, you know, what's your takeaway? What is your takeaway from tonight? You know, you can post in the chat box. Was it worth your time? I mean, you know, time is so precious. And so again, what is your takeaway? You know, for me, I've got a page and a half of notes, and, you know, it was just really phenomenal. But the biggest thing, you know, I really got it is that, you know, an experience doesn't have meaning until you equate a meaning to it. Woo! Woo-hoo! When he gave the analogy of the 10 kids and, you know, and, you know, they all experienced the same thing in that household. One, you know, takes it as, oh, okay, I've got to be a, you know, high achiever. The other says, oh, woe is me, right? So it's the meaning we give to things. But also when you feel something, I really love what he said, you know, do the deep breathing, get centered, and then move into it. Move into it and say, okay, what is my nervous system? Because my nervous system's here to protect. What's the opportunity for me to learn in this moment? All things work for the good. I really believe that. I've seen it. I've experienced it. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, right? For thou art with me, right? So being in alignment. And so thank you everyone for sharing. I mean, look at this. I mean, I love this, all right? And so Brad said, do we really believe it? Woo! Do you really believe? Do you really believe abundance? Because yes, You know, I know Matt doesn't say sabotage. He doesn't like that word, but you know, that's my terminology, right? I mean, if you don't believe it, you're going to be out of alignment. Okay. And it's, you know, as he talked about chiropractic, he didn't go into it, but I've heard him say, your body is, it's a healing temple, but you have to, sometimes there's blockage, right? So thank you, Brad, for that. And the way chiropractic, right? You get back in alignment, you get adjustments to get alignment so things can flow. So I love what Brad said. Do you believe it? Right? Alice said, thank you for a fresh perspective to grow and understand. Yes, thank you. Right? Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Carrie over in Australia said, clear, connect, create. Okay? So that's what Matt was unpacking. And that's really powerful. I love the fact that Brother Dave said, I now have new knowledge to combat doubts and fear. Woo! Thank you. Adele said, wow. All right. Greg gave me a smiley face, right? Carrie said, our nervous system is separate from us. Whoa. Thank you for that breakthrough. Reggie said, awesome. I too resonated with the heart pounding analogy. Yes. Another way to approach limiting beliefs. Very timely, as I have been working on this with a counselor, even as of yesterday. Look at this, right? Wow. All right. And so this is awesome. This is awesome. And Ruth will close out. Ruth said, thank you, Dr. Matt. You gave me so much powerful information that I had never heard of. Never heard of. I will put this into practice. Wow. And then Corey, Corey's with Carrie. Okay. And Corey, Corey said, what does this mean about me? That was her breakthrough. Right. And so that's powerful. Thank you, Carrie. And Corey's one of our sisters over in Australia. And, Matt knows her very well as well. So here's what I want you to understand is that it's now time. Brothers and sisters, it's now time to elevate. Our world needs us. Our world needs you to step up. Right now, COVID-19, the George Floyd murder and how that just elicits so much emotions. And so we need you to be in alignment so that you can fulfill the purpose that you're born to fulfill. I am Marlon Smith in partnership with Tony Jackson and Chris Jackson. And this is the Real Money Coach. And we just say thank you. I know we've gone a little bit over, but I think it's worth it based on the comments. People have been transformed tonight. And again, the 30daybreakthrough.com. Go check it out. Because again, that may be something to help reinforce. I mean, this was just a little snippet. I've been to Matt's, 3-day programs, right? And he just, as you can see, he's passionate because he's here to make a difference, to almost remind people the truth about who they really are. And so I am Marlon Smith reminding you there's greatness within you. And remember, a vision without action is just a dream. A lot of action without a vision is merely a passing of time, but a vision with action can change the world. Stay blessed.